It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
And this is It's Movie Time.
It's movie time, John.
Okay, Linny, look I've seen Jack Nicholson in About Schmidt. I've seen Bill Murray in St. Vincent. These are a couple of instances I can think of in the last several years of these old guys who are curmudgeons, all right? And they're just grumpy, and then somebody comes along and they suddenly reveal that these old guys actually have a warm heart. So we have a movie called A Man Called Ove. You and I have both read the novel and enjoyed it. It's a Swedish novel and it's a big hit.
Oh, indeed.
But Linny, is this just more of the same?
I was afraid that it might be, but you wouldn't think a film about a gruff, old, well, he's not really old, a gruff man.
You know, he's 59, but I think the actor looks older.
Right. He's short-tempered, and here's a man who repeatedly tries to commit suicide. So you couldn't think that it was going to be deadpan comedy at its best, but it really is.
I know. I think you're right. One of the funny motifs in it is his attempting suicide, and then the neighbors come to the door,
repeatedly knocking on his door for help,
because his virtue is that he's compulsive. To the extent that he takes care of the neighborhood, even after he loses the job as the top dog in this association. He's still going around making sure people don't drive on the streets.
He patrols the walkways, he checks the garage doors and makes sure they're properly latched. He disposes of abandoned bicycles. He terrorizes pet owners and throws a shoe at a stray cat.
Good one. And, of all the people who come to his door, the one who is closest to him is Parvana, I think her name is.
Right.
She's an Iranian lady who is pregnant and just full of life and the devil. Actually, the complete opposite of Ove.
Right.
And she is partly responsible for bringing him out.
She brings him back to life. That's true.
Yeah. And anybody else that he brings back, or any other kindnesses you can think of? So we can let people know that this is a good guy?
Well, first impressions can be wrong, I think, at times. But you have to realize that even though he's nasty, he's deeply grieving the death of his wife.
Thank you. Good point.
And, she was just beloved to him. And that's why he's so nasty. But one of the most important things you have to realize about him is that his way is the only right way to do things, and anybody who disagrees with him is a complete idiot.
We probably know some people like that, don't you think?
Oh, indeed. I bet.
In fact, you've accused me of that sometimes.
Yeah. But it's through a series of flashbacks that we see that he really is a good man. He's experienced pain and loss. We see him fall in love with a school teacher, and her name is Sonia.
Oh, yes.
When she enters the story, the movie starts to sparkle for me. She's got this radiant smile and this expressive face, and he's still kind of dour as a young man, obviously.
It's such a great point. He is Ove as a young man, but he's much more romantic as a young man than after he loses her.
Yeah.
You and I discussed after the movie about how she could have fallen in love with this guy, and we kind of agreed that there's something about somebody, and I suspect she could see the heart within him.
Yeah.
And she could see that this is a totally honest guy, whatever it was. Yeah, the actress is very attractive, and it's difficult to figure how she could ever
because they're almost opposites. But sometimes that works.
I know,
but in their life, they suffer misfortunes like a lot of people, including a dreadful bus accident that almost kills her, really.
Yeah.
And causes her to miscarry their baby.
Yeah, oh boy.
And then confines her to a wheelchair for the rest of her life.
That's right, yeah.
And then we see the gentle goodness lying beneath Ove's grumpy exterior, because it's through his loving devotion that she is able to carry on teaching.
Well, one of the small points, I love how when she tells him that she's pregnant, he goes right away and builds a cradle.
Right.
I mean, he's turns
on it.
around and he goes right away.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of guy he is. He shows his love in ways that they're kind of unusual.
By fixing things.
By fixing things, right, right. I really, one of the subtle occurrences in the film that shows him again is the way he treats some young men. You mentioned the bicycle that he fixed for a kid, but there's
Right.
also a young man in there who is closeted,
Right.
and
He takes him in.
yeah, he gently takes him in. How very cool is that?
Right.
And the cat.
Oh dear. Well, yes. Well, Sonia does, Parvana does so many things for him, starting out with her delicious Peruvian food. I guess it is a Persian food. But she enlists him to teach her how to
Let's
drive.
see. Yeah, that would be Persian, I guess, right?
Persian, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead and say that again.
Okay. She first gets his attention by giving him this delicious Persian food. And then she enlists him to teach her how to drive, and that is some of the good humor of the movie.
One of the subtleties in this movie is that he has banned everybody from driving in the compound,
Right.
and yet he wants her to learn how to drive.
I know.
So his life is filled with contradiction.
Right.
But in the end, it's his heart that comes out.
Exactly. Exactly. One of my favorite scenes, because Parvana she's so warm and she just doesn't give up on this man. They're just walking down the street in the neighborhood, and she's just chatting away. She's very small and he's very tall.
Yeah, good contrast.
And that's funny to watch that.
Yes.
But she's just talking away, and then all of a sudden, for the first time, you see Ove's smile.
Oh, big smile.
And then
yeah.
he actually breaks into a chuckle, and it's like, this is so heartwarming, but just very underplayed. And then one time he's standing on the balcony of his house, and he looks across the little street, and Parvana's two little daughters are waving to him through the window. It is just so dear, because you see no expression really changes on his face, but you see something come down and kind of light up in him. So
this
all
is
very subtle.
This is a European-style film, the kind that you and I love. It's not for everybody because it is understated.
Very.
Yeah, but yet it has a richness because of that. It's Swedish, so you're going to have to read subtitles. However, I would have to say that it's a rewarding experience if you're willing to just sit back and enjoy it. There's no CGI, as far as I can tell, in this whole film.
No.
It is authentic in that way. It is realistic in that way. And while it builds on a stereotype of the curmudgeon, the cold exterior and the warm interior, I think it pulls it off.
Yeah, I think it's because one of the things is because the simple, clearly drawn cinematography doesn't rely on heavy sentiment. Just pulls it off beautifully.
Where that interests me as a point too. Where the sentiment comes, where we can really connect with him, is in the flashbacks. This is
Right,
where those
yeah.
flashbacks. I'm not a big fan of flashbacks. I like stuff to happen now, and I don't like to be confused. This is not confusing. You know exactly
No.
where he is at what time in his life when they flash back, but they also show the underpinnings of his generous heart.
Right. And you get to see, he loses his parents at a young age, and he just perseveres. He just keeps going.
Yeah.
So, Rolf Lassgard, is that how you pronounce
That's
it?
the actor.
He is just superb as Ove. It's a very understated performance. He hates bureaucrats and drives only a Saab. No other cars will do. Only a Saab.
Liddy, I think we're telling everybody the whole film
No,
here.
no,
we're
no.
getting so well. We're this is how much we like it.
Yeah.
Is that we're getting into it, and you're right. The conflict between the Saab and the Volvo owners.
Yeah, his neighbor, who was a good friend,
Right.
they almost split up over their difference of cars.
You can tell somebody about somebody by the car they drive,
Right.
if they drive a Saab or if they drive
Exactly.
a Volvo.
And again, he's right. You have to drive a Saab.
You're right. Well, Linda Baas McClelland. This is A Man Called Ove. It's Swedish. It's about a curmudgeon. What grade would you award it?
I love the book, and I was delighted that the film actually did the book justice. I'm going to give it an A.
All right, very good. And I'm going to give it a B plus. And I'm going to say this: it will deserve an A from anybody who sees it if you can remember that all you need to do is put the L in front of his last name.
That's right. John, you need to get a cat.
Okay, in the next life.